Okay, this section is about completing the square, which is a different way to solve an x squared equation. And not all equations are going to factor. So up to this point, we've had basically pretty much all equations that factored, so you're able to easy factor them. When we asked you to solve one, you could absolutely factor them so that you could get an answer. Those are only a small piece of all quadratic equations that exist. All right, this to me is the easier of the two ways to solve in terms of that we're going to show you, in terms of the two things we're going to do. We're going to teach you completing a square. We're going to teach you a quadratic formula. Some people like the quadratic formula better because it's a simple plugging numbers into a formula that you're given situation. It takes longer. There's more mistakes that you can make along the way. Because it's really easy to put something in the calculator wrong. This works. I never actually learned this when I was in high school or college. I didn't learn this until I was teaching. And then once I learned it. Once I learned it, I thought, I wish I had always used it this way. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a quadratic equation. It has to be equal to 0. All right, so it has to be equal to 0. We're going to deal with the a, the b, and the c in terms of what to do with them more with the quadratic formula, which you'll do in a few days. All right. We are going to turn this into a perfect square trinomial. A lot of what we do with math is manipulating things to turn them into special cases, which then helps us solve things. What's a perfect square trinomial? A perfect square trinomial looks like this. We probably have not talked about this yet. But when I take this equation and factor it, this expression and factor it, I get x plus 3 and x plus 3, which means that is the same thing as x plus 3 squared. All right, because it's x plus 3 times x plus 3. Anything times itself is that thing squared. The reason this is nice is what I'll show you in the next video. These are actually super easy to solve when I have a perfect square trinomial because I can take a square root to get rid of a squared. And that makes this a much quicker process to deal with.